Improv is a form of theater, not just comedy. There's also dramatic improv that is not scripted, not rehearsed. There's really no pre-planning. We just hang out in that room and talk, and then we come out on stage and we just see what happens.
What we do on Thursday nights is a little different than what we do on Friday and Saturday, which is our game style nights. This is long form night.
Long form is more of the style that's practiced by like Upright Citizens Brigade or Second City or Improv Olympic, some of the more famous improv groups out in Chicago and New York.
It's different from the short form where we play all kinds of small little games. In long form, we get one suggestion at the beginning of the show.
Farm talk.
One of the players on stage is going to come forward and do a brief little monologue based on that suggestion about real events that have happened to them in their lives.
My family comes from a farm. My grandma...
And we'll all be listening on the side of the stage, picking up things from that monologue, places, people, ideas, and we'll come out and we'll do scenes inspired by that.
All right, listen, I know we've only been dating for a couple months.
When you do a play and you do it for 3 weeks, it's the same thing every night. The audience changes, little things change, but it's the same script and the same things happen. But with improv, you never know what's going to happen.
They have been mad. I love when you pet my beard.
Improv is the opposite of what you're doing right now, which is reading me questions on a little tiny piece of paper. You prepared. I didn't. And that's the difference in improv. We make things up as we go along. It's a weird state of mind that you have to work for years to get into, and then you never can rid yourself of it. Because you constantly follow the slightest idea that you get in your head to its natural conclusion. This will isolate you from your peers, but will make you the most interesting person you know.
To do long story short, you have to be a fairly seasoned improviser, and you have to be really, really comfortable with creating really bold characters and coming up with really weird situations. You have to really be a team player. Nobody's the star of the show. We're very much an ensemble, and it's all about supporting your fellow teammates and making sure that nobody looks stupid.
A lot of people get into it expecting it to be like stand-up comedy, where you're one person on stage kind of looking out for yourself, making sure you're doing a good job. In improv, it's completely different because you are relying on all the people who are on stage with you to support the ideas you come up with, to heighten them, to bring new things to them and turn them into a big giant scene that makes sense both to everybody on stage and the audience watching.
There is no improv without the audience, and not just for the simple reason that they give us the suggestion that starts the show. I mean, that's true too, but without an audience, it's just an exercise. It's just something you do to practice. With an audience, it becomes a whole performance in the show.
The audience has so much control over the show. They're so important, and they don't even know it. They're responsible for the energy of the show, whether everybody's happy or miserable. They're responsible for the content of the show when it comes to giving us the suggestions that feed all of our scenes and games. The audience, I think, sometimes should work harder than the players, but not even realize that they are.
It's difficult because every once in a while stuff doesn't work, things misfire.
We cut to 2 weeks from now.
You're maybe not in tune with your fellow teammates, you're trying to create something that they're not picking up on or vice versa, and it gets a little bit like work then. And that's when it's the hardest, when it feels like work. When it's going really well, it just feels like you're playing a game.
He's in turn! It's on there pretty good!
But I always compare it to building sandcastles on the beach. You work really hard on it, you work on it with friends, it's big, it's gorgeous, and then it's gone. And then you start building the next one.